Hello friends, looking at current affairs for 5th May. The news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 17. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, Indore is the most Swachh city, Gonda the dirtiest. So this is regarding the Swachh Sarvekshan 2017 which has been put forth in public domain. So here the list shows Indore as the most clean city in the country. So this is in Madhya Pradesh, and the dirtiest city is Gonda in Uttar Pradesh. So the top 10 cities are also listed here. You can see even New Delhi Municipal Council area comes in the list. Navi Mumbai is on 8th position. Tirupati, the temple city, is also at number 9. The maximum number of cities, so there are 434 cities which were included in this, and the indicators were public feedback also and independent observation as well. So you can see the methodology used was citizen feedback, direct observation, and also municipal documentation. So these three were the sources, and data was collected on the basis of which the list was prepared. And the areas of evaluation, they were questioned on, areas were on municipal solid waste, so door-to-door collection, sweeping, transportation. So this was given 40% weightage. Municipal solid waste processing and disposal, 20% weightage. Open defecation free or toilets being there, 30% weightage to this aspect. Information, education and behavior change communication, 5% weightage. And finally on capacity building, e-learning as such. So this is Swachh Bharat Mission e-learning. So that is given 5% weightage. So on the basis of this, the list has been prepared. So some have also claimed that because of public feedback score low, the city has gone down. Even in some cases, it has been the other way around. Because of public feedback score being high, the city's ranking has gone up. So this aspect is also there. So these you can see, the maximum number of cities in the top 50 are from Gujarat. So 12 cities from Gujarat come in top 50. Second is Madhya Pradesh. The list also you can see the number of cities surveyed and ranking in top 25, top 100. And also compared to last year, how the rankings have changed. So last year Chandigarh was at number 2, this year it's at number 11. Mysuru was last year number 1, this time it's Indore. So it has gone to number 5. And Indore last year was number 25. So there are drastic variations also which are visible. That's why questions are being asked, and some say that public feedback may have changed these rankings significantly too. Then the next news item is High Court upholds life for 11 in Bilkis Bano case. So this is a post Godhra riots case. So Godhra incident which took place in Gujarat here at Godhra station, in which a train was put on fire. So after that, Hindu-Muslim riots which took place in this, the Bilkis Bano case of this post Godhra riots of 2002 was a case in which a 19-year-old female who was gang raped, and while she was pregnant, she was 5 months visibly pregnant, and she was gang raped by people from her village whom she knew. So this incident, even her family members were killed. She was raped in front of her family. This incident had created a huge furor, and this case was going on in Ahmedabad court, but later there were apprehensions that the witness would be harmed. The case was moved to Mumbai, and in Mumbai, the Bombay High Court gave its verdict in 2008, and in this verdict, the conviction and sentence of 12 men to life imprisonment was provided. Now these convicted had gone on appeal, and the appeal's judgment has come. So those convictions have been upheld in this appeal as well. So the Bombay High Court's judgment which has come up right now, it has reaffirmed the conviction. Also 5 policemen and 2 doctors who were also involved in, you can see, disappearance of evidence offences and putting an incorrect record in writing. So these 7 people have also been convicted. So they have also been sentenced to imprisonment and fined as well. So this is the case. Then next is Commando killed 19 injured in landmine blast in Gadchiroli. So this is Gadchiroli district in Maharashtra. Here another incident of Maoist attack took place. So earlier too there was an attack which took place, and now this is the second incident. So this December 2016 also in this Gadchiroli district, 80 mining vehicles were torched by the rebels groups of Maoists. Now this incident which has taken place, in this a police personnel was killed and 19 have been injured by an IED, improvised explosive device triggered by the Maoists. So this you can see the regions, Naxalite affected regions are here. So this is the Maharashtra Gadchiroli region. This had been quiet for long now. So after 2014, there had been no major incidents, but now they have come up, risen again. So this Gadchiroli, we saw one incident in Sukma district, then one in Kandhamal in Odisha. So these are the regions where the Maoists are active. Then the next news item is India's first village of books opens. So this Maharashtra Chief Minister, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, has inaugurated India's first village of books. So this is Bhilar in Satara district, which is close to Mahabaleshwar, which is a hill station. So here the people are generally, they grow strawberry, but now they have come up with a huge library and a collection of Marathi books as such. So it has become the first village of books in this vernacular language. Then next is CIC seeks details of action against former Chief Justice. So the Central Information Commission has directed the Supreme Court Information Officer and the Union Law Minister to share details of the actions taken on a complaint regarding the former Chief Justice of India, Mr. Altamas Kabir. So this complaint was regarding a 2013 judgment. So before the judgment was given, this judgment was leaked and actually uploaded on a private website even before the judgment was given. So this case is there. So this incident, an RTI was filed as such, but the RTI activist Mr. Subhash Agarwal, he said that he has not been provided correct information on his RTI application. So the Central Information Commission is actually the body established under RTI, Right to Information Act. So this body is the, in appeal you go to State Information Commission and then to Central Information Commission too. So now in this case the Central Information Commission has asked both the Supreme Court Information Officer to and Law Ministry to provide the details. It has also stated there is not enough means available to put a check on the judges, the Chief Justice of India as such too, and even former judges. So how to discipline them is a question. So what we are seeing presently with respect to judges too, that disciplining judges, or if there are allegations against judges, what steps need to be taken, there is a lacune there. The way we are seeing with Justice Karnan too, there is no means to have judicial independence. There are no other avenues which have been given to bring judges to the line. So the only way is impeachment. So this lacune is again been highlighted in this case as well. So this is regarding the Central Information Commission. So it is a statutory body under the Right to Information Act. It consists of one Chief Information Commissioner and not more than 10 Information Commissioners along with him. So this is the commission. They are appointed by the President of India. So they receive complaints from anyone. So there is a Central Information Commission too, and each state also has a State Information Commission, all under the Right to Information Act. So powers and functions are listed here, you can see. So it is the duty of these commissions to receive and inquire into complaints from any person, and it may, if it is satisfied on reasonable grounds, it may initiate an inquiry also on a matter. So receive complaints and initiate an inquiry also, and they have the power as of a civil court. So this is also there. So CIC has the power of civil court under the Code of Civil Procedure when looking into these complaints. Then the next news item is Pakistan seizing boats from Indian waters, claims Gujarat fishermen. So Gujarat fishermen are claiming that Pakistani forces, the maritime security forces, are capturing fishermen and the boats even crossing the international maritime boundary line between the two countries. So these instances have increased presently. So there are around 600 fishermen from Gujarat and around 980 mechanized boats, fishing trawlers and boats, which have been captured by the Pakistani Maritime Security Agency. So this is the claim being made. Few Pakistani fishermen are also there in jails in Gujarat, but many more number of fishermen from India are out there. So this is also an issue between India and Pakistan. So you can see we have a maritime boundary too, and this is the region of dispute. Then next is no media glare for South Asia satellite. So this is the South Asia satellite which we have already discussed, which will be launched on GSLV F09. So this satellite will be serving India and 6 other nations. So 7 members of SAARC excluding Pakistan. So this satellite will be launched by ISRO on 5th May. But then ISRO has said there will be no live telecast of this satellite. It has not taken, the media will not be allowed to have a coverage to. Otherwise, generally ISRO takes media, around 200 reporters from the media as such, to Sriharikota to witness the launch too, but that will not be done for this South Asia satellite. So this has raised apprehensions why ISRO, which is generally transparent and open, is reticent on this matter. So the satellite as such has been said to be a communication satellite. So such steps are generally taken when it is a spy satellite, like when Israel's spy satellite was launched by India, Texar, in 2008. At that time too, such steps were taken. So this you already know about it. We have already discussed this on 1st of May, that the SAC satellite was announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2014 as a gift to its neighbors. So the entire cost of launch of the satellite will be borne by India, but cost of the satellite as such has to be borne by the other 6 nations as well, which will be benefited from it. So these are the 6 nations: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka and Maldives. So this is the SAC satellite. So we have already done this 12 transponders, KU band transponders which are there on it. It will be used for telecommunication, disaster management. So this one statement has been provided about its function, but then this secrecy which is being brought in now is raising speculation. Then the next news item is US, Germany slam India for NGO funding norms. So this is regarding the UNHRC peer review. We have already discussed this on 30th of May. So UNHRC, United Nations Human Rights Council, has this peer review done on human rights laws in various countries on a regular basis. So once in 5 years, every country is peer review. Now peer review means that various other members, other countries of UNHRC will be reviewing one country. So here India's was due now. So Attorney General of India, Mr. Mukul Rohatgi, was in Geneva for defending the allegations against India. So first allegation, and which we discuss, is regarding FCRA, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So this is a law which has been used to clamp down NGOs in India, and these countries from USA, even European countries, are saying that these actions are arbitrary. But the Attorney General says that FCRA is a legitimate law of the country and NGOs who want to operate in India will have to follow this law. Second allegation is regarding AFSPA, Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Now AFSPA is a law which is providing immunity to the armed forces. Means even if violations are conducted by them, actions cannot be taken against them except through permission from the center. So this act is also having many cases of human rights violations which have come to the fore too. But the Attorney General here has defended this act, saying that this is only applicable in few disturbed areas in the country. Then next question being raised, another new issue which has come forth, is of attacks on Africans in the country. The recent incident in Noida Mall which has taken place too. So on this, the government has said that we accept our responsibility and prosecution of those responsible for these attacks will be conducted. So here the FCRA Act is mentioned. So the basic purpose of this act was all those NGOs which receive foreign funds, they have to be regulated to ensure that such funds are not used for any anti-national activity. So regulation is sought in under this act. Then the next news item is center selling Aadhaar like a panacea, says petitioner. So this is the same Aadhaar linkage to PAN card case which is being heard regularly. So we get the news regarding that. So now a question which the petitioner has raised is that when you are saying that Aadhaar PAN linkage is being done because there are duplicate PANs, so the data reveals that there are only 0.4% of PAN cards which are duplicate. So remaining 99.6% PAN cards are genuine. So why Aadhaar PAN linkage is being sought from everyone? So on this, the government has responded saying that India has also signed an intergovernmental agreement with USA on FATCA, Foreign Account Tax Compliant Act. So this is an act of US government of 2010. So under this, the US government wants that tax evasion should not take place by people who should be paying taxes to US government. It's nationals and people working there. So for that, USA has signed these bilateral agreements with various countries, with India also. So they have to give the details about US nationals to the government here in USA. So the agencies in USA will provided these details, and if we give duplicate PANs, so that would be an embarrassment for the government. That is why this PAN Aadhaar linkage and duplicate PANs need to be eliminated has become important. So this is regarding that. The next news item is Agni-2 test fails to meet desired parameters. So Agni-2 missile with a strike range of more than 2000 km was presently test fired off Orissa coast, but then it did not meet all the desired parameters. So Agni series of satellites are being constructed by India. Many have been inducted too. So this you can see Agni 1, Agni 2. So what we are having presently been, test fired was Agni 2, that is medium range ballistic missile. Agni 3 is intermediate range ballistic missile. So that is about the range. So this is medium, then intermediate, and then it is intercontinental ballistic missile Agni 5, which has range of more than 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers. Range of 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers. So these are the missiles in Agni series. The next news item is Russia, Iran and Turkey ink Syria deal. So in Syria, there is a demand that there should be safe zones identified and created. So a deal in this matter has taken place now. So Russia has also backing this. US President Donald Trump had also demanded that safe zones should be established in Syria so that peace can come and it can be initiated in this region now. So Russia, Iran, which are allies of Syrian regime, and Turkey, which is supporting the Syrian rebels, these three nations have signed this deal so that safe zones can be created. Syria regime itself is not involved, neither the Syrian rebels are involved. The other three entities here have signed this deal. So this is regarding the region here. Then next is cut corporate tax to 18%, remove all incentives, CII. So this is the Confederation of Indian Industries President Shobhana Kamineni. So this is the first woman head also of CII. She has said, the CII body says that corporate tax has to be reduced to 18%. Presently it's around 25%. So this, and also the incentives given with respect to taxation has to be eliminated. So all should come under corporate income tax at 18%, and also agricultural should be taxed. Agricultural income should be taxed. As the suggestion has been given by Niti Aayog and Chief Economic Advisor to recently. So this has been seconded by CII now. So this is the news here. The next news item is government plans steel plants with private players on PSU land. So this is regarding the recent news which we had discussed earlier too, that PSUs will be disinvested, and the loss-making PSUs, the land which is available with them, can be fruitfully used. So an SPV would be formed for startups is one news we discussed. Now this is coming forth that a suggestion also is there, a plan with the government is there to set up new steel plants on this surplus land with PSUs, so that the steel production capacity can also be increased, as has been suggested in the National Steel Policy, the new policy of 2017, which has been brought forth, which targets 300 million tons of steel to be produced by 2030. Presently, steel production is only 126 million tons. So this is the news. Next is high coal tax may benefit economy, IMF. So International Monetary Fund has suggested to India that the taxation on coal has to be increased. So per ton tax at least can be rupees 150 per ton increase can be there. So if this is done from 2017 to 2030, it would result in drastic reduction in deaths due to air pollution, and also it will improve the economy. It will raise the GDP by 1% by 2030 is what IMF states. Also CO2 emissions will reduce. So this will be a net economic benefit for the economy. So this is being suggested now. So because coal has to be, it also says that if coal tax cannot be imposed, then at least incentives should be given for non-renewable sources. So this is what we know. So this is again a suggestion coming forth here. Next is a bionic hand that can see. So this is regarding a bionic hand, means a prosthetic which has been developed. So this hand has a camera. So prosthetic is generally used, means those who don't have limbs, they may use this. So these prosthetics, generally the problem is that they do not respond instantly. So this bionic, this hand would have a camera fitted on it. So the camera would see the obstacle object, whatever is there, and can be, and this bionic hand is actually trained through artificial intelligence, neural networks. So what kind of object image is coming forth and what kind of grip it should use. So different grips for different objects, all that is being trained through artificial intelligence, and this will significantly ease the functioning of this bionic hand for the people who use prosthetics, means artificial limbs. So this is the hand which can see. Then next is the last news item, time for biodegradable electronics. So this scientists of University of Stanford have developed biodegradable electronics, means that electronic device which can biodegrade. So this is the first such example of a semiconductive polymer which can decompose being developed. So this is very important in context of electronic waste also, which is generated and which will multiply in the future also because of huge developments in this field. So this is an important initiative on this line. So that is it. Thank you.